So here's our second tutorial here, and I'm going to deal more strictly with functions here. And I've left you a link again in Moodle to the JavaScript functions link in W3 Schools, but I'll refer you to chapter 20 of your textbook too. Honestly, Snyder does a really nice job of describing how to program functions in there. And I would encourage you to take advantage of all the little code snippets he has here. I'm going to kind of model a little bit the example you'll find on page 624. I got two different examples I'll show you that are related to this. Again, it's page 624 out of chapter 20. Okay, so you go through and you can read this here. What I'm going to modify is we did this example a while ago where we have temperature conversion, and we're using the on change event. So if I put 100 in here and then I hit a tab, it changes it to 212. Or if I put 68 degrees Fahrenheit over here, it changes my Celsius to 20 degrees. Okay, so that nice easy application that we've worked with, and I'll go over and work with the code here. Let me just make a couple quick changes here. I always find it's very hard in these smaller screens to kind of view everything that's going on here, but I'll try and just summarize it for you here. So I have a text box here called text box 1, and I have it sized down to 3 units. And then what happens here is on the on change event, we take whatever's in text box 2 dot value, and then we go ahead and assign it a different value based upon what's on text box 1 dot value. Over here we do the same thing. We have a second text box, and we go ahead and use kind of the reciprocal relationship to assign it the value in, I believe it's Celsius degrees. And then we go back and look at it. Here's our interface. All right. So quick summary of how that works. And now let me just go up here, and I'm going to put some JavaScript in here, and I'm going to put it outside of my form. And the reason I'm doing that is I don't want it to execute it yet. So I'm going to put my script here and my type. When you write script, if you follow the syntax, you have to tell what type of script it is. I'll say it's text / JavaScript, one word. All right, and so that's where my start tag is. And forgive me here, I'm using Notepad, which works just fine for a lot of applications, but it doesn't highlight things in pretty different colors like your Notepad++ does. Doesn't matter, it all works. Okay, so let me create inside my my JavaScript here. I'm going to create a function. All right, and the way we declare a function is with the word function. All right, so I say here's my function, then I give it a name, and I'm gonna create two here. This one I'm gonna call if we have the Fahrenheit temperature, or if we have the Celsius temperature. This one's gonna take whatever's in Celsius, and this is a name just like a variable name. I'm gonna really shorten this. I'm gonna call it C2F. All right, and I can call it whatever name I want, provided I don't use special characters. I don't have any spaces in there. All right. And then inside here we put a couple parentheses because we can also pass parameters on, and I'm gonna today use something as you read through your lesson. I'm gonna globally declare any parameters here. So we're not gonna use local parameter declaration, and we'll see an example of that later. All right. So a function here, and so my function starts, and it's gonna end somewhere in the end bracket. And these brackets, if you're looking for them on your keyboard, are kind of just adjacent to your P key, just off to the right of it. So I put some brackets indicating where this function starts and where it ends. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this, and I'm going to take whatever's in text box 1, and I'm going to modify it and make it work so that there's something different in text box 1, text box 2. Okay, so in here, I'm going to take my Celsius, which is found in text box 2. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to change text box. And I need to declare this a little differently, okay? So as you go through your examples out of Snyder text, recognize when we leave our form, we need to declare it, or we need to work with a global recognition of that. And the syntax for this, which is something you haven't seen yet, you always start with document, because that describes what we're working with here. This is the document model, and then we go to the name of the form. So I'll say form 1, which we've named, and then I'll go text box. What do we want to do? Text box 1 actually text box 2 dot value is going to be equal to, and now we can kind of do our declarations here. What is it? 9 divided by 5 times text box 1 dot value plus 32. All right, and because that's a Java statement, we need to terminate it, right? We need to end it. All right, so there we go. And I didn't follow the same syntax here. I forgot to be more complete when I'm describing this as a global parameter. So I'm going to say document dot, and this is in form 1 as also. Okay, so I think I have it all defined here. And then by doing that, I don't need to, on my onChange event, I'm just going to call Celsius to Fahrenheit. So that's a function. All right. Again, advantages are, if I have more than one line of code to write, this is pretty simple. I just have this one line of code. But if I have more than one line, I can put it all in a function. And then I can also, if I do have more than one line of code, I can recycle it. I can reuse routines over and over again. All right. So here we go. We got text box 1, and when we hit the onChange event, it should go C to, make sure we don't have any syntax errors here, C to F. All right. So I'll save this. Go back over here. I'll refresh F5. All right. Let's put something in here. If I change this, this isn't going to really do anything, right? Because we've already used this. But let me go over here. Let me change this. Let me put 100 over here, and let's see if this works right. And if not, we'll go through and let me try that again. And we'll go through and do a little troubleshooting next. Okay, so if this is 100, now it should, we've changed the way we've structured this, and that works correctly. It should change it to 212, and if we put 32 here, okay. So everything's still working, but we've made a significant change in the structure of our program. All right, let's do the same thing here. We can have multiple functions, of course. Let's create a second function. I'm going to do a copy. I'll cheat a little bit. Copy and paste saves me a lot of time. And we'll do a C to, or F to C. And here we're going to want to take document.form1.textbox1.value is going to be, well, we need to change this, right? And if we go down and look at what our formula looks like, we want to do 5/9 times textbox1.value minus 32. Let's write that out now. 5 divided by 9 times, okay, and we're going to take whatever's in text box 2, and we'll subtract from that 32. Okay. We have to put that in parentheses because our order of operations requires us to, we want to subtract 32 and then multiply it by 5/9. All right, so now we have two functions here. Let's go down and augment our onChange event code. All right. So I'll take this out and I'll say F to C because that's the other function we made, right? So we got Celsius to Fahrenheit and Fahrenheit to Celsius, and let's hope I didn't make a syntax error here. If it does, we'll fix it. And I'll do a refresh. All right, so if I change this to 100, works that way, and let me change this to 32, and it seems to work that way as well. Okay, so what we've done here is we started implementing functions, and we also learned some of the global declaration syntax for working with forms, text boxes, and what's known as the DOM model, or document.